Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala ashrafil mursaleen. Sayyidina wa nabiyyina wa maulana Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma alamtana. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa ahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It gives me great pleasure on behalf of UCT MSA to invite you to our annual AGM, our annual general meeting. And really the purpose of this engagement is for us to talk to you, our society, our community, about what we've achieved over the last year, but also reflect on what went well, what could have been better, where we can improve, and then also to introduce you to the new committee that will be taking us forward for the new term, inshallah. But before we start, I'm going to ask Sheikh Khalid, our Islamic advisor, to give us an opening dua. Bismillah, Sheikh.
الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خير خلق الله أجمعين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم أعطني ولكل من الحاضرين إيمانا كاملا وأمانا دائما ورزقا واسعا وعقلا تاما وعلما نافعا وعملا صالحا واعطنا عزة وصحة وراحة وفرحة وقوة في بارتك يا رحمن يا رحيم يا أكرم الأكرمين. ربي يسر ولا تعسر، ربي تمم بالخير وأنت يا الله الكريم الميسر. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وادخلنا الجنة مع الأبرار يا عزيز يا غفار يا مولانا يا رب العالمين. اللهم افتح لنا بالخير واختم لنا بالخير واجعل أواقب أمورنا بالخير بيدك الخير والعافية إنك على كل شيء قدير. اللهم إنا نسألك حبك وحب من يحبك وحب عمل يقربنا إلى حبك. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Shukran, Sheikh Khalid, for that opening dua. So just to give you an overview of how tonight's going to work, the structure, we're going to start off with some report back. So I'll be doing a short report back as the chairperson of the MSA. And then our treasurer, Ahmed Gur, is going to be talking about the financial side, giving a financial report back. And then each portfolio will also be sharing their thoughts and their experiences over the last year. And then from there, we will also announce the new committee and then close things off and also open up the floor for questions from you all. So please feel free to ask anything that you feel is necessary. So the first point on the agenda is for me as the chair to give a short report back on the society. I'm not going to speak too much about each portfolio because they are going to do that themselves. But I thought how I could perhaps structure this is to talk about really the objectives of the MSA and why we need an MSA and what is the value of this institution. And essentially, it really boils down to the purpose of Islam. The purpose of the MSA is really much connected to the purpose of Islam. And we know the purpose of Islam is really to connect everyone, whether they are Muslim, whether they are non-Muslim, to their creator. And this is a very important thing to do. And especially in the society that we live in, we find that a lot of Muslims, they know about Allah, but they don't necessarily know Allah. Allah is sort of like this third person in the abyss. And Islam really wants you to become intimately close to the one who is always close to you. And this is really the function of the MSA. So what you'll find is that if you look at all the different initiatives, interventions that the MSA tries to do, it's all connected in some way to either bringing people closer to their creator, but also to serve the creation. So we, as the MSA, are driven by this concept of khidmah, this concept of service. So you'll see this reflected throughout the different portfolios. It's either creating spaces to make us closer to our creator, or to serve the creation. And alhamdulillah, I think that this past year has I don't like to say that it's been incredibly challenging in the sense that we were not able to do things. As you'll see, the MSA has been incredibly active over the last year. I think we have to always look at perspective and say this is the basket that we've been given. It's a basket that no other MSA has been given in the past. And what it required from us was a certain element of creativity. It required a certain sense of ingenuity to really establish new initiatives that can still obtain the same core objectives that I spoke to you about at the beginning. So maybe it meant that we had to have an online Islam week, or it meant that we had to organize more outdoor activities, but again, falling within the same core objective, which is to connect Muslims to Islam, and also to be a source of light for non-Muslims to become closer to the religion. And it really makes me very proud to say that alhamdulillah, many non-Muslims, despite the fact that we were online for most of the year, we actually conducted a shahada directly at our campus, on the mid campus last year. And there are many non-Muslims who have joined the MSA this year and are in the process of taking their own shahada. So really the objective there is being fulfilled, of being a space for people to become closer and to know the religion of Islam in the most authentic way possible. Of course, one of the big challenges in the world that we live in is that Muslims and non-Muslims invariably don't have an accurate understanding of Islam. So it's the duty of the MSA to present the authentic version of Islam, the beauty of Islam, and to really show how Islam is a solution to all of the world's problems. From climate change to poverty, Islam is the huda, it is the guidance, and it is also the shifa, it is the cure. And we know this, and that's why we have to know our religion as we present it to not just the Muslims, not just to the humanity, but to the alameen, as the Quran says, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. So this is really been the objective of our term as an MSA. It's been to maintain those objectives, to keep the objectives firm in mind, that we want to create a space where people become closer to the creator, but we also want to make service and core aspect of our term. Service, in our view, isn't really an event, it's a lifestyle. Just like exercise is not just an event, it's a lifestyle. Health of the mind, health of the body, health of the spirit, health of the soul. This is something that the MSA has tried to achieve in various ways. But with that being said, alhamdulillah, there's also been many challenges this year. We did have quite a few resignations for various reasons. But alhamdulillah, I think that just reflecting on how things have gone, I can confidently say that whatever internal challenges they were learned from and discussed, and you'll see that perhaps threaded throughout the various recommendations that will be presented by the different portfolios. So just in summary from my side, I think it's been an incredible year. I think coming into this position as the MSA, we were not really sure what to expect, what the course of the pandemic would necessarily be, but I'm really proud of what the team has achieved, and they've all worked incredibly hard, some of them under incredibly challenging circumstances personally, but also with family members not being well due to COVID. So alhamdulillah, I really am incredibly proud of the team, and may Allah reward them for all the hard work that they've done. And I also, make dua that the committee that is to come afterwards, that Allah also ensures and enables them to achieve much more and to build on what we have achieved this year, inshallah. Ameen. Barakallahu feekum, wal afwa minkum. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullah. And I'll now hand over to Ahmed Gur, who is the treasurer of the MSA, to speak to us about from a financial side how things have been in terms of the treasury. Over to you, Ahmed.
All right, salam everyone. Yeah, so I guess I'll just get straight into it. I'll share my screen. All right, Yas, can you just give me a confirmation that you can see my screen?
Can't see it yet. Yeah, it's starting to share.
Now?
Yeah, here we go.
All right, cool. Okay, so I took over from Noreen this year. So basically, I didn't really make major adjustments to the budget. I just sort of took over from her and continued what she was doing. So this is a spreadsheet that she created, and this is the budget that they laid out. And we'll get to how they made the decisions from here when it comes to specific portfolios. So the opening balance at the beginning of the term was 127,000. This was much more than usual, and largely due to not many activities being run in the first year of lockdown, the previous term. And there were quite a few plans for some structural change to upgrade the Jamaat Khana. The cash opening balance was 9,000. It was actually 12,000, but there was a 3,000 Rand reimbursement that we needed to make to a member from the previous term. So we started with 136,000. We expected 32,000 to come from subscription fees. It ended up being about 20,000, actually 19,000. And then expected cash collections from Juma. We didn't do many of that since we didn't have many Jumas. We expected about 8,000, but we didn't have anything. But what we did have was a lot of other donations. And you'll see that when I get to the portfolios that we carried a lot of activities that didn't cost the society anything because a lot of it was sponsored. So the expected income was 40,000, but like I said, it was much less than that. And we were targeting a closing balance of 60,000. And this was just for the following year's orientation week, freshers event, and compensation for possible reduced signups in years to come. What we ended up with, we ended up doing much better than we expected. And this is, like I said, largely due to us getting many donations. So a lot of our things were sponsored. But our current DSA balance is 138,000, which is actually up from last year. However, there are a few pending reimbursements. So that should take us down if those reimbursements go through to 125,000. And our current cash balance is 5,500. So we actually we should end of the year once those reimbursements go through with about 130,000. So it's 5,000 lower from last year, but much higher than what we were aiming for, more than double. So that's really good. Then to get to the specific portfolios, I'm not going to go too much into detail about what each of these initiatives were. Each portfolio will present what they planned and what they did. But this part of the spreadsheet is basically what was budgeted for, and each of these things were what was budgeted for, and this is what was actually spent. So events are budgeted for about 35,000, but we only needed to spend about 9,000. Outreach, we budgeted for about 8,500, but we only needed to spend 2,000. I think this is quite amazing, just considering what outreach did this term. They accomplished a hell of a lot, but for most of the initiatives, they were able to fund everything through getting donations. Then media and marketing, we budgeted 5,000, but we only needed to spend 200 Rand, and that was for UCT just kidding. JK maintenance, the upper campus didn't spend anything, but JK maintenance med, we budgeted at 18,000 because quite a few upgrades need to be done to the med campus Jamaat Khana. Anyone who has been there knows that it's quite a small, and we're looking to get another JK hopefully we will secure that in the next term. But they bought a new vacuum, which cost 1,900, and a sound system that we're actually still waiting on a reimbursement for, but that was about 10,000. Then for education, we budgeted 25,000. We budget quite a bit for the Juma khutbahs because we pay the speakers whenever they come. So that usually costs a lot. But again, with the reduced Jumas, we only ended up spending 1,500 this year. Current affairs, nearly 2,000 we budgeted for, but only had to spend 300 Rand. Postgrad didn't spend anything. In Islam, we budget quite a bit, and but alhamdulillah, we got a lot of donations for a lot of the initiatives we had planned. It actually costs a lot less being online, but above that, it could have cost more. But for example, like the roses and some of the speakers that were quite expensive, they were all sponsored. So all in all, bottom line is for all the portfolios, we budgeted 134,000, but we only spent about 26,000. And this is not achieving much, but just being able to get donations and doing things cost effectively. If you have any questions, please let me know. I know I did rush through it, but otherwise we can proceed with the agenda.
Shukran Ahmed, maybe we just give it 30 seconds for any questions that people might have. Welcome to type in the chat as well as we go along. Okay, so let me just share this. So basically the next stage is for us to, okay, can you all see my screen? I think it's just, can you all see my screen? I think there might be an issue. Yeah. Can you all see my screen? Can I just get indication? Yeah, okay. So now we're going to be going to the different portfolios. So we're going to start off with Amina Domingo, who is a second year medical student, and she headed up our current affairs portfolio this year. Take it away, Amina.
Shukran, Ilyas. Just going to share my screen quickly. Oh, you must close yours.
Yeah. Should be able to.
Okay,
now.
can you see?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, assalamu alaikum everyone. So as Ilyas said, I was the manager of the current affairs portfolio. So I'm just going to go through everything very briefly on what we achieved this year. So the main thing that we wanted to do was the monthly posters, and the main aim was to educate everyone, the UCT community, on like events that were taking place in different countries and ways to contribute. So the goal was to do a poster a month, but just due to lack of subcommittee members for like the first half of the year, I was the only one. We only managed to get 5 posters out, but alhamdulillah, we got really good feedback on the ones that we did get out. And I think the next 2 slides are just a few of the posters that we did: Syria, Yemen, Afghanistan, and in Palestine and the Uyghur Muslims. So it's just a brief post on what was happening in the country, where the country is situated, and what we can do to help here in Cape Town. Another event that we held was Hijab Day. So this was actually one of the events that I really wanted to do coming into the portfolio. And we just had 5, obviously, female speakers, with 3 of them coming from the UCT MSA, which was Nasreen, Kauthar, and Sana. And it was basically just a talk where, they could just share their stories on if they were wearing the hijab, if they weren't wearing it, and like all the difficulties they faced, all the successes they faced. Alhamdulillah, the giveaway prize was sponsored, so we saved money there. And we did have about 46 registration, but only 27 attendees. I mean, it's still quite a lot, I think, but obviously you expect a bit more people to attend. But alhamdulillah, people did get back to me saying that they really enjoy just listening to other people speak about their journey, so that was good. And then this was just the poster that we used. And then this was actually released like a month after I came into term. It was the France statement. So I'm not sure if everyone remembers, but there was a situation in France where the teacher portrayed the pictures of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then he was beheaded by a student. And we just felt like, as the Msa of the university, we just had to say something about that and give our stance on it. So that was released last year, and I think that was the first major thing. Alhamdulillah, that was the only statement that was released. If something like, fees must fall would happen, then we would have had to release that. But the France statement was the only major one that was released. And then there was also an issue that was carried on from last year, that there were a few complaints about the quality of the halal food in certain reses. So as someone who, who doesn't stay at res, I just put it out on the Instagram pages if anyone could just contact us if they had any problems. And a few people contacted us. So Ilyas and we had a meeting with the catering manager and the res coordinator just to hear what the situation was, where they get their food from, like how they manage the halal food. And we just basically established a relationship with them that if they ever needed anything, any assistance, they could always come to us. And that was at the time where people were returning back to campus. So it was like maybe 2 students were short of a halal meal because they didn't know that they were coming back. And then I actually think like 2 weeks later, they sent us another email updating us on the like suppliers of the halal food, which was really nice. And we haven't gotten any, should I say, like concerns around there from last year, which is great. And then we did this recently. So a few students had to write exams on Eid, and there was also word that they had to, produce a letter by the local imam or sheikh to say that, okay, they actually are celebrating Eid. And lots of students felt like this was very problematic. And so the MSA, we reached out to faculty heads. We literally sent an email to every single head of every single academic faculty, just offering our services. So if they ever needed to know when the possible date of Eid was, or any like solar times that might clash with, exams, then they could have reached out to us. Actually, after we sent that, we got an email from the Faculty of Health Science asking us what time Asr and Maghrib is, because the tests were running through that time, and like how much time a student needs to pray, and if they have to do it in a group or if they can do it individually. So that was really nice. And about maybe like a third of the faculty heads got back to us just thanking us, for reaching out to them, and that they would use our services if needed. So that was really nice. And then I think this might be the last one, Islam Week. So the current affairs hosted the first event, which was the Journey to Islam, in which there were many reverts, speaking about the journey to Islam, should I say. And then throughout the entire Islam Week, we did a Women in Islam poster. So every day we focused on a different woman, her achievements, her background, like the legacy she left, whether it was a local woman such as Malma radiallahu, or women in the Sahaba stand like Khadija radiallahu anha. So that was really nice. And then this is the few posters that we got out. And alhamdulillah, at this time there were 2 people on the subcommittee, so that was really nice. We could all work on about 2 posters at a time. And then just closing off, just looking back, we were supposed to hold another event, Islam and Politics, but just because of time, we were only able to hold the hijab day. Also, just because the lack of subcommittee members, like with the monthly posters, it was just very, very difficult to put it all on one person. So time management was a big issue. But alhamdulillah, I think it's a very rewarding portfolio. You're making others aware of things that are going on around the world here in the UCT community. So yeah, alhamdulillah, I think we accomplished quite a lot because last year the position was vacant for quite a while. So yeah, that's all from the current affairs side. So shukran. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. But yes, that's all from me. Alhamdulillah.
Shukran so much, Amina, for that. Just to echo what you said, I think that current affairs is definitely a portfolio that has been growing. For those of you who may not know, current affairs this is actually the third or the fourth year that the current affairs portfolio existed. It was established in 2017, 2018, and it was actually part of the events portfolio. So inshallah, we hope that with Amina's example, this can grow into an even bigger portfolio, and maybe we might even need more than one current affairs manager, inshallah. So next up, we're going to have the education portfolio. And the education portfolio, it was headed by Abdul Dayan Peterson, who is studying environmental sciences, as well as Rastam Slamdin, who is a student of Arabic at the university.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Welcome, sir.
Rastam won't be joining us, unfortunately. So I'll be doing the slideshow. Okay, there we go. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's start off with the events for this past year. I suppose Jummah is an event. So of course, Jummah is the main priority. We had a variety of speakers. Unfortunately, with COVID, we couldn't have as many Jummahs as we wanted due to all the lockdowns and the regulations and so on. And as you saw in the budget, a tiny percentage of the original budgeted amount was actually spent on the khatibs because we had so few Jummahs. Yeah, so this year Mid-Campus actually sorted out their own khatibs for Jummah as compared to the previous years where it was one committee that sorted it out. And then for Islam Week, I think that was our only other event that we did really. Everything was virtual, and the ones that education covered during Islam Week was a youth panel about spirituality and Islam, and the chair was Sheikh Abdullah Bayat. But we also had, Brother Faiq Hamid, who was, I think he's on the media and marketing subcommittee. Amara Ajit was on the committee, and a few other youth as well. And then a speaker that we had was Dr. Muhammad Groenewald. So he spoke about the life of Imam al-Haddad and the origins and the history of the Haddad in Cape Town, which was an intro into the Ratib al-Haddad, or the dhikr that was done by Khuddamul Islam. And then the other thing that we had during Islam Week was a talk by myself, Abdul Dayan Peterson, on Islam at the Cape. Initiatives this year, there were actually quite a number that we had. I think probably close to 20. I'm sure Ilyas remembers all of those, but we only covered about a quarter of them. So the main one was the UCT, the JK library. There were books like everywhere in the library, like I think even in the supplies closet and next to the mimbar and everything. So we basically had to pack all the books and then photograph them and then catalog them. So, it took quite a bit of time. I got through to packing them on the shelves and photographing them, and I'm halfway through cataloging them. So either the next education manager will have to take that on, or inshallah, perhaps I will stay and continue that project. Another initiative was adding historical names to the signage at the JK, and there was a thing released today, a statement released today about that. So it's still like fresh. which is to add the term langer or langer to the JK sign, because the word langer was actually used in the Cape for like 3 centuries to refer to a Jamaat Khana or Musalla. And I felt that, it's quite important that we embrace our Muslim culture that we had here at the Cape. Other words we will be adding is abdas, namaz, sumbaying next to the salah signs, and so on. A third initiative that we started was the Arabic reading tutor sessions. This has been quite a fruitful one so far. We've had quite a number of sign-ups and quite even more tutors that signed up to help. And the tutors have been reporting back well, alhamdulillah. And then we had the Arabic for Beginners class by Sheikh Khalid. I'm not sure exactly which day it's taking place on, but that has been quite successful as well. And then also quite recently, we have the Sirah notes from the Martin Ling's book, Muhammad, that has been, put into like a nice format for people to read, but that's also, it's interim, we're busy sorting that out still. So by next year, inshallah, things will be a bit better regarding the Sirah notes. The ideas and plans that we had, this was mostly covered by Rastam. So one of the ideas was to have an interfaith talk with Sheikh Sameh Jed. The other was weekly talks after Dhuhr in the JK, which used to occur pre-COVID, but unfortunately it stopped due to COVID. And then Surah Yasin and Awrad in the morning. And then a fourth thing is the ABCs of Da'wah for the 21st century Da'i. Rastam said that he will explain it once we have the meeting of the first committee as the ex officio. Yeah, he will explain what that is. I'm not too sure, to be honest. And then extra responsibilities after lockdown is to manage the library loans once we have the library up and going, someone or a few people to perhaps change the Salah times daily, and then as well as to help organize events such as the Khatam. Thank you. And we have a nice Quran quote. I'm sure everybody can read the Quran because my screen is a bit obscured here. Oh, there it is. Okay. وعد الله الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات لهم مغفرة وأجر عظيم. And the meaning is Allah has promised those who believe and do righteous deeds that for them there is forgiveness and great reward. So may Allah make us of them. Ameen. Shukran.
Shukran, Dayan, for that really brilliant presentation. Just clarifying if you can all see my screen with the, is my screen sharing at the moment? Okay. Yeah, so again, really shukran so much, Dayan, for that. Education Portfolio, I think, has done a really incredible job. And there's a lot of initiatives that I see can definitely be carried over into next year, inshallah. So the next portfolio that's going to be presenting is events, and events was, the people in charge of events were Sana Khan and Riaz. Riaz is a medical student at UCT, and Sana is doing a BA in political sciences and psychology. So take it away, guys.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Can you see my screen? I'm not able to see if I can share it.
I can see your screen, Sana.
So on the event side, this year was kind of challenging because when we made the strat plan initially with what we wanted to do, because we kind of expected that COVID was gonna end like now, but then obviously things changed, and yeah, so it was kind of challenging. So the first thing that we wanted to do for the year was have a movie night, and however that didn't go as planned, and then it turned into a social event, which was something that the MSA Cape did. I think Ilyas did it at St. George's, which was like the first event for the year as such. And then we had the iftar. No, we had a pre-exam khatam. Which was online, and that was really nice to plan. It wasn't too challenging. We got a speaker, and we had a dhikr. And I think it was less stressful because it wasn't in person, it was online. So that was good. And then we had the iftar. The iftar was like was kind of really stressful because that was when we didn't have any strict lockdown regulations, but we were still really scared about like if someone got COVID at this event, and we decided to keep it like in a small number and get a very well ventilated area for it. And it was the only in-person event that we could have. This is where the only time we spent from our budget was for the food for the iftar. And I think we had a really good like outcome of people who came. It was really full, and I think it was a very successful event. And then other things that we planned to do with the MSA from Stellenbosch and Tygerberg. So we planned to collab with the outreach team to have a soccer tournament, and we had planned for it to be in, I think, August, but it just never came about to be. Like it kept getting delayed with each lockdown level, and then just never happened. And even though we did like have a meeting with the other MSA, and then yeah, we also had like another khatam. I think we had 2 or 3 khatams for exams, and was kind of following the same procedure of getting a speaker, dhikr, du'as, and such. And that, I think that was very not so challenging to plan. And I wish we could have done a lot more, and we could have like gotten to do more, but we just kept thinking that the regulations would change or something would happen, and we were like kind of on our toes without not really knowing what's going to happen next, or if situations are going to get better or not. So we achieved like 4 out of 6 things that we had planned for the year. So I think that's good, and I hopefully, inshallah, that in the coming year we're able to have a lot more events, in-person events, because I think those are like the most fun compared to like an online event. Yeah, and I think that's all from us. Riaz, do you have anything to say?
No, I completely agree with you. Yeah, I think we do because of COVID, and obviously
I'm not sure.
Unfortunately, it didn't. So I think we did as much as we could, and then obviously coming will get better.
Yeah. Sana, any last words from you?
Wait, sorry, did you guys hear me? I think my connection was bad.
I heard part of it, and if you want to repeat it, Riaz, if that's okay.
Oh yeah, I was just agreeing with Sana in saying I think we were a bit limited, but we were being optimistic throughout the year with the hopes that things would change. But unfortunately, things didn't change much. But I definitely think in the coming years, the portfolio will be able to grow much more because obviously a little more freedom socially and that. But otherwise, I'm really happy with what we did this year, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the events portfolio can do in the coming years.
Yeah, shukran, Riaz. Sana, any last words from you?
None. It was just fun working with Riaz and Razeen. That's all. Thank you.
Shukran, guys. That was the events portfolio, and the next portfolio after the events team is going to be the JK maintenance. So obviously, as you probably know, or maybe not know, we have 2 JKs at UCT. We have a JK upper and we have a JK mid. JK Med is going to start for us, and JK managers for Med Campus were Hood Bayat and Taslim Sadan, who are both third-year medical students at UCT. So you guys can take it away.
Okay, I'm just going to share my screen quickly. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see your screen. Images.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. You can see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum everyone. So as Ilya said, the JK maintenance portfolio for Med Campus for the term 2020-2021 was run by myself and Hood Bayat. When we began in October 2020, we had the vision of making the JK more inviting and hospitable to its users. We did this by removing old posters and clutter, tidying up the shelves, and fixing the shoe racks. Our aim was also to add mirrors and rubber mats for the wudu area. Our overarching goal, however, was to keep the JK and Juma venue safe and clean for everyone in the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay. To do this, we implemented COVID-19 safety measures. These included limiting the amount of people in the JK, sanitizing the carpets regularly, demarcating salar areas, and putting up posters as a reminder of all the rules we implemented. A weekly duty of ours was also to book and set up Juma venues. But we had the aim of securing a permanent Juma venue. We did this by scouting possible venues and even writing a proposal to the UCT Planning Committee. Our plan was also to recruit other MSA members to join the subcommittee in order to make cleaning the JK and executing Jumas a more quick process. Alhamdulillah, we were successful in achieving most of our objectives. We believe that the COVID rules we put in place made the JK and Jumas more safe to attend. We also were able to recruit a small amount of people to be part of the subcommittee. We were also able to purchase a sound system, which is something we never had at Med Campus before. It has made it easier to have Juma over 2 venues, which we were doing for most of the year. The sound system will also be able to be utilized and benefit the MSA for many more years to come, inshallah. Challenges that we faced this year was not having enough people to set up and pack away for Jumas. And we hope the next team can overcome this by making it easier to sign up for subcoms and also having events to allow subcommittee members to socialize and interact with each other. We were not able to purchase everything that we wanted to, like mirrors and rubber mats. Our proposal for a permanent venue was unfortunately not accepted for this year, but we hope, inshallah, that the future members of this portfolio will be able to pursue and secure a permanent venue. Other suggestions include adding Islamic books to the collection that we currently have and having a roster for the team who cleans the JK. I would just like to end off by saying that I hope the JK will once again become a place where Muslims can not only make salah, but also interact with each other. Shukran.
Thanks so much, Taslim. Next up, we have JK Upper, and Abdullah is going to be presenting on behalf of the JK Upper team.
Assalamu alaikum, can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear?
Okay, excellent. Shukran, Ilyas. So I joined fairly late in the year. I joined around the beginning of 2nd semester after the resignations that Ilyas mentioned previously. So Ibrahim, before me, he was the maintenance. He was JK maintenance. But now he asked if I was able to assist her, so I became maintenance head. For the female side, it is Amara. I understand Amara told me they're doing a decent job. Everything is up to check as far as we can be. But so COVID is obviously the biggest the biggest obstacle to overcome here. Not everyone is on campus, so it's difficult to maintain a schedule, which is a key part in keeping the JK clean and maintained. So vacuuming, mopping the wudukhana, and of course cleaning the towels. So what happened was that whoever was on campus, we asked if they could just take over. I myself was very rarely on campus this semester so far. But yes, so besides the decentralization of the schedule, other than that, I think we did as best as we could. Alhamdulillah, we did our best, yeah. So shukran.
Shukran so much, Abdullah. And yeah, just to echo what you're saying is that it's obviously been very challenging over the last year. And even just to fight for Jumu'ah, to get Jumu'ah back was a whole mission on its own. And the negotiation required was very challenging, but alhamdulillah, we got it back. And today actually was the resumption of Jumu'ah, the second resumption, alhamdulillah. So our next portfolio that's going to be presenting is Media and Marketing, which is led by Sakina, who is a science student at Upper Campus. Sakina, are you there?
Sakina's having technical difficulties. Can we just kick her out and let her rejoin? She asked.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Or maybe in the okay, so just having some technical difficulties, but we can also move on to the next portfolio in the meanwhile, which is the outreach portfolio. And the outreach portfolio was led by three people, Kauthar, Laika, and Zahra, and they're going to be presenting. And yeah, take it away.
I hope you can see.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, Kauthar will be speaking.
Shukran Zahra. Assalamu alaikum everybody. My name is Kauthar. I was one of the 3 outreach people for this year, 2020, 2021. So it is Laika, Zahra and me, and they are the names of all our subcommittee members. So we had Yamin, Huda, Lukman, Nashita, Rishana, and Uwarta. So on the next slide, we've just got a summary of everything that we did this year. These were also all of our goals for the year. So I think that we did like reasonably well. The only reason we were able to do so well is because there was 3 of us. So we were able to split the work quite evenly and none of us felt overwhelmed, I don't think. So we had the stationery drive at the beginning of the year. We had the charity acts throughout the year. We had our Juma collection drives and okay, everything else. I'll go through it as we go through the slides. Okay, on the next slide, we've got our back to school stationery drive, the first initiative of the year. It started during the holidays, like in January. We raised money, so it was like a social media campaign to raise money for stationery for the Vision Child and Youth Care Center in Mount View. We raised 11,899. I think I made a mistake with that 99. It was 11,800. So it's with 2 zeros, not 2 nines. And we used that money to buy stationery for Vision and we delivered it to them. I've got some pictures there of us delivering it. So that was really nice. And on the next slide, we've got our charity hikes. These took place throughout the year, every second week. And then we took a young break for every time there was a peak wave or something. And it was mostly run by MSAK, but we were provided a charity for the money to go to. So it was a charity because people came with like an entrance fee, and then we gave our money to the Al-Waha Institute for the Deaf. We were assisting them to find a venue, like a permanent venue for the institution. Yeah. And on to the next slide, we've got our Juma collection drive. So we wanted to make like outreach and just giving to charity like a normal thing. And we wanted to make it very accessible for our MSA community. So this is one of the ways we tried doing that. So we put collection boxes in our upper and mid-campus JKs, and someone from our outreach committee spoke to someone at the Sayyidina Bilal Mosque in Khayelitsha, and they because Khayelitsha was one of the places we wanted to make a like long-lasting connection with, a relationship with. So we decided we're going to collect things for them. So we collected food and clothing, and we gave it to them after about 2 months of collecting. And we also took these collection boxes to other events to make every event that we had also a charity event. So outreach and charity was taking place throughout there. And on the next slide, this is also part of our ongoing relationship with the mosque in Khayelitsha. So they said that one of the things that they needed was a JoJo tank and like a water system. So us together with many other people and generous funders found a way to get money together and have a JoJo tank and water system installed. And this is done quite recently, like we did the handover recently, last week, Saturday. So that is quite nice. And the MJC was there as well to help us with the handover. And on the next slide, so this was something that happened in April. Due to unforeseen circumstances, there was a fire at UCT, and I said the UCT was a victim of the fire. Don't know. Anyway, yeah, so UCT was the victim of the fire, but luckily UCT is okay now. But at the time, it was also during Ramadan, and lots of students were overwhelmed. It was a very like busy time, and the MSA came together really nicely to they came together really nicely to make sure that our fellow Muslim brothers and sisters that were in Res at the time were able to break their fast and had a place to stay for those days that followed the fire. So that whole period of time was just a very nice time when everybody came together and helped. Yeah, so we were part of the Gift of the Givers efforts to help with the UCT fire situation. And also after that, we had lots of things left over because people gave so many donations like food and clothes. So we used that opportunity to give things to other organizations as well. So we were also able to use that and support soup kitchens during that time, so during Ramadan, and I put the thank you letter there because we were able to do so much with the donations. On the next slide, this falls into the UCT fire situation. So there were lots of salah clothes that were left over, and we were able to give this to a mosque in Delft, where there were community members who needed clothes and things. Yeah, so that was also really nice. And we collected extra as well. So we asked people to bring extra things that they had and they put it in the boxes, our collection boxes in the JKs. One of the more recent things that happened was our Operation Winter Warmth. So we had a collaboration with the Al-Imdad Foundation and with Shulko Health and with us. So it was 3 organizations and we all raised money to buy blankets to hand out to the communities that Shulko normally serves. So that was communities in Khayelitsha and Guguletu and Imizamuyetu. So we raised money, we gave the money to Al-Imdad, they bought the blankets and they helped us to hand it out. yeah, that was also really nice being part of giving it out to the communities. On the next slide, this was our annual Kurban. So the MSA Cape usually does this every year, and this year we were part of it. So once again, it was a fundraising initiative. We got together 12,000 Rand. We were able to purchase 6 sheep. And then the Kurban took place, obviously, on Eid al-Adha. And then I'll speak later about what happened to the meat from the Kurban. The tutoring initiative. So we started this. We advertised it. It was in the works. It almost happened. And then we got a third wave. And then schools closed. So unfortunately, this initiative didn't actually take place. But everything is already, like the groundwork is laid. So inshallah, the next committee can just take over from where we left off. And the WhatsApp group with volunteers is literally there, it's waiting. So they just need to get students for us to teach and a venue. And that can hopefully happen next year. And then this was also quite recent. This was in August. We wanted to do something for Islam Week and also for Women's Month. So this is our Islam Week initiative. We asked people to donate sanitary products or money, whichever they were able to. And we bought sanitary products and made care packs and handed it out to 3 centers, the Sarki Batman Center, Sisters Incorporated, and the Nonteba Project. They were all very, very grateful to get these packs, and we had a very fun time making it. This was one of our only like in-person events of the year. And on the next one, I think this is the last one, our food distribution. So this happened last week, Saturday. Yes. This is where the meat from the Kurban went. It is another joint initiative with MSA Cape. So members of various MSAs came together and they helped prepare the food for 800-liter pots. And yeah, we made the food. We spent the morning prepping the food. Was also a lot of fun. And then the distribution took place in the afternoon in the communities of Khayelitsha, Tafelsig, and Mitchell's Plain. And there was also packing of like party pack type things that happened. So those packs were also handed out in those communities on the day. And on the next slide, that's all. Shukran, everybody. These are just a few points that we wrote when we were feeling very emotional, because we enjoyed working on this committee so much and we enjoyed working together, and we really will miss everybody. We'll miss it. We'll miss being part of the MSA. So shukran to everyone who contributed to these initiatives. And we really saw how generous everybody who's part of the MSA is, and we really, really do appreciate it. Alhamdulillah. And shukran so much to our subcommittee as well for being so supportive. We really enjoyed it. We appreciate all our friendships that we've made and everything that we learned. And we hope that our successes are even more, can just build on what we did this year and can do even more, inshallah, ameen. Yeah, shukran.
Shukran so much, Kauthar, and the whole outreach team for that. I think that's a whole presentation, a whole half an hour, because there's so much that they've done. And I think it just shows that, you know, even though it's a pandemic, even though it's challenging, you know, there's so many things that one can do, and you have to strategize and definitely set the bar very high for next year. And it was very difficult, I think, to top what you guys have done. And so shukran for all your efforts throughout the entire year, alhamdulillah. I think let me, while Sakina is maybe getting ready, we can go to the postgraduate portfolio, and the postgraduate portfolio was led by Riyal Ahmed. He is a postgraduate student in hematology on the medical campus. Unfortunately, because of his postgraduate studies, he's actually doing an experiment right now, which he can't leave. So he's asked if I could present on his behalf. So just to give a short background, because this is actually the first year that that there is a postgraduate portfolio on the MSA. There used to be a postgraduate MSA, but it was kind of separate, kind of like in limbo, wasn't totally part of the MSA, wasn't totally separate. So at the start of our term, we made the decision to formally recognize the postgraduate portfolio as part of the MSA. And because of that, we actually needed to appoint somebody to lead the postgraduate portfolio, and alhamdulillah, Riyadh stepped up to the plate. And yeah, I mean, they had a lot of plans for the year. One of these plans included the Research Expo. They wanted to create opportunities for different postgraduates to connect with each other. For those of you who might be postgraduates yourselves, you might know that being a postgraduate is a very lonely space compared to undergraduate when you're seeing your friends every day. So they wanted to create spaces for postgraduates to interact with one another. But I think, one of the greatest achievements is just the fact that we've established this portfolio. And even though there were not many outcomes, tangible outcomes that we can necessarily report on, I think it would be fair to say that Riyadh has laid down a considerable foundation upon which future postgraduate leaders can build on. Inshallah, he's done a great job, and I'm just really happy that this portfolio has come to fruition. Alhamdulillah. Sakina, are you winning with the laptop? Let's see. I've made you co-host. Sakina, is it working?
Assalamu alaikum. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, walaikum salam. Awesome.
I apologize, I was having some technical difficulties. I'm just quickly getting my stuff together and then I will put it up.
No problem. Take your time.
Apologies for that.
No problem. Yeah. So maybe I can just add on to the postgraduate. So in the past, the postgraduate portfolio used to do these quizzes, postgraduate quizzes. They used to have these interdisciplinary discussions on different postgraduates, because I think when you're a postgraduate, you have a different perspective to undergraduates. So alhamdulillah, it's a space that we need to explore. So when we started this term, one of the things that I said is that this is sort of like the year of integration. So we're trying to integrate upper and mid campus. We're trying to integrate undergraduate with postgraduate. We're trying to integrate UCT with the other universities. We're trying to so integrate first years with final years by having a committee that is very diverse. We've got people in 6th year, and then you've got people in 2nd year working together. So that's the type of integration that we're trying to do, inshallah. Sakina, are you ready?
Nearly there.
Okay. So just different levels, layers of integration that we've been trying to achieve. And alhamdulillah, I think it presented its own challenges, but I think it was largely quite successful. Just to give one example, when the upper campus students were writing exams, the medical students were free. So then the medical students often took on the burden of the upper campus students, and vice versa. So that was quite an effective thing. So inshallah, I hope that it continues and grows from there. In the meanwhile, are there any questions from the community? Any thoughts that you guys have? Anything that you would like to share? Just while we wait for Sakina to set up her screen. Any questions that you might have? From the committee as well, if you guys have any questions. Yeah. Shukran so much, Yamin. So Yamin is also on the outreach portfolio. I don't know if you, so maybe Yamin, I don't know if you want to say a few words about the Bilal Mosque, because you were involved with that quite a bit. If you're comfortable, Yamin, that was an incredible effort. Oh, he doesn't have a mic. Okay, that's totally fine.
Yeah, I think I am ready.
You're ready. Okay, go for it.
I do apologize.
No
I
problem.
had to change to different device. So
No problem. Problem.
I don't even know if my screen is showing.
It's showing. I can see.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name's Sakina. I joined the media and marketing portfolio a bit late. I only joined in June, but alhamdulillah, the people who were running the media marketing portfolio before me, they did a great job. So I have to give them some credit, because not everything that the media and marketing portfolio achieved this year was due to my efforts, but rather due to theirs as well. So that was Zahid Jibe and Wahid Amanji. So let's just get started. I'm going to talk firstly. Okay, so these are the social media platforms that the MSA currently makes use of. So you can see it's quite a few. And the one which was new this year was the Telegram channel. So we have the WhatsApp group for the Faculty of Health Science MSA, and there are currently 174 people in there. Our Twitter page wasn't so active this year, neither was our Facebook page, but we still have a lot of following on there. And then our YouTube page, we have 149 subscribers, which is quite an increase from in the past, as well as our Instagram page. You can see 1,722 followers. And in the Telegram channel, we have 94 subscribers. So what the Telegram channel is, for those of you who perhaps aren't familiar with Telegram, it's a platform where we can post any sort of reminders or posters about events and so on for the community to see, and they can comment on this. So they can't post things. So it's not like a WhatsApp group where you have a bunch of people posting and you're getting spammed and all of that. So it's quite a nice platform to have, and you can have a lot more members in there than in a WhatsApp group. Okay, then next up. So the Linktree was also something new which we started this year. So what Linktree is you can summarize all of the links that you use for your events, your classes and everything, and it's just all in one place, and it's really, really nice. So when we post things on Instagram, instead of putting a long link, which people obviously aren't going to go on and type themselves, we can just say, okay, refer to link in bio, and then they can click here and scroll through it, and everything is nicely in one place. Then the Telegram channel, okay, I spoke a bit about that already, but if you look here, here's just a screenshot of it. So you can see there's a message that was sent by UCT MSA, and there's an option to leave a comment below where you can ask questions and so on. Okay. So something which was new this year compared to previous years was that we decided to make really fancy Salah posters. So that was something which was started by the previous managers. So previously for Jumu'ah, it used to just be in an email where they would say, okay, Jumu'ah and mid campus is going to be held here, and Jumu'ah and upper campus will be held there. And it was just typed out in black and white. But as you can see this year, we've made really nice, colorful posters, and we've tried to keep up with the integration between upper campus and the health science campus by putting them on the same poster. And then you can also see our Eid Salah poster over here and our Tarawih poster as well. So that was something new that we had. And then next up was the highlights reel on our Instagram page. So previously there was a bit of a highlight reel on Instagram, but it wasn't really kept updated, and there wasn't there wasn't really much organization among there. So we just kind of revamped it a little bit. So this is quite nice, because those of you on Instagram will know that a story can only stay up for 24 hours. So if someone wants to go back and maybe see details of a certain event or a class, or they just want to browse through photos and so on, it's all there nicely in one place. Okay, Then this was something which I decided to do, but I'm sure that he probably also intended doing this and maybe just didn't get around to it. So for the various important Islamic dates, national dates, and so on, we made a poster for each of those, and then we included a relevant hadith. So this had two purposes. The one was obviously something to put on our social media to keep our page looking aesthetic and so on, but more importantly, the goal behind this was just to also spread some knowledge and remind the believers, because reminder benefits the believers. So these are some of our posters, as you can see. Then next up, Jumu'ah Live. So we started broadcasting our Jumu'ahs to Instagram, and for those who couldn't attend the live on Instagram, we made a little Jumu'ah series. So if you go on Instagram and you check under our EGTV tab, you'll see them there, and they're all nicely there. And then the other thing that we also came up with was a combined media group. So this is on Instagram, where we included all the media groups from MSAs, not just within the Cape, but within the other provinces as well. And it was really nice because not only did it help foster a bond with the other committees, but this year all events tended to be online and so on. So in the past, obviously you can't go to Tuck's MSA and go and attend the event and help them out. But with virtual events, we were able to build a stronger community and bond with the other MSAs. So I hope this is something that the future media and marketing portfolio will keep up and maybe start off with from the beginning of the year and perhaps meet them and strengthen that bond as well. Then the Hadith series on Instagram is also something that we started off. So these were the 40 Hadith by Imam Nawawi that we posted. So as you can see, we have the hadith on the one side, and then there was also an explanation of each of the hadith where we put various benefits of them, and we managed to get up to hadith number 10. There are 40 of them. So inshallah, if the future media portfolio would like to continue with that, that would be something nice, just to continue with. Then the next thing was the Vula page. Now, on my other device, I actually had my own Vula page open, and I was going to show you guys what it looked like, but maybe I can just quickly log into Vula and show that. Would that be okay? Can I show them how the Vula page looks?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Do that.
Just going to pause the share.
Yeah. But just while you're doing that, I just think you've done an excellent job, Sakina. Definitely lots of new things and really making the most of the circumstances. And I think that there's like a common theme that you guys can sort of see across all these different presentations, is that there's like initiatives, but there's room for sustainability also. Like there's things that we're doing now, but there's also things that future MSAs can just build on with the Linktree. Like Linktree, actually, there's so many other custom features on Linktree that we haven't explored yet. So there's always room for growth. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, just for example, like with the Instagram page, we had just over 1,000, I think, 1,000 followers, and now we like on 1,700. So that definitely is a testament to the fact that there's activity, there's not just content, but there's good content that is being posted. So again, let's set the target, inshallah, next year for 2,000 followers on Instagram, inshallah.
Okay, I am getting there now, logged in.
Okay. Ahmed, I see you've unmuted.
Yeah, no, just to tag on to what you're saying, I've been really impressed with the media and marketing team. Like, I mean, given how active this MSA is, everyone's doing so much, but forget that the more active the MSA is, the more active the media and marketing team has to be.
Exactly.
Just being able to manage the activeness of the MSA, it's been really impressive. And even the posters in that, they're really up to a very high standard. It's not just a simple text. It's very creative, and yeah, I'm very impressed.
And I think that was also, obviously due to Sakina's work ethic and organization. Also, she had a very good subcom. So I think that's an interesting theme to.
Yes, alhamdulillah, we had a nice sized subcom, which definitely helped a lot.
And it just shows how important the subcom is. So inshallah, that's something that we need to work on for next year, the next committee, just to get more people involved. Yeah.
Okay, is my screen showing? Just want to show the people the Vula page quickly.
It's still on the presentation. I think you must go to new share.
Okay. Okay, now?
Yeah.
Is it showing? Okay, so this was again something which I didn't come up with. It was started before I joined, but I've sort of added some modifications and stuff. So the one thing which was really nice, which the MSA came up with this year, was an Islamic education tab. So in the past, you can see, I'll just show you quickly, they used to have this resources tab. So like those of you who use Wula at UCT will know, it's not like a very nice layout. You just have these folders. It's a bit boring and, you know, to scroll through, and it's, yeah. But now this year, they made an Islamic education tab, and just wait for it. Ta-da! So it's all nice and colorful, and we have folders there with everything. We're still adding a bit more. So I'm just going to open one of them. For example, it's the stories told by the Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and each thing has a nice banner there. So here's the hadith that relates, I mean, not the hadith, the Quranic ayah, and then all of the PDFs from the set of talks. You can see that they're all posted nicely over here. And again, like what Elias was saying about the continuity and so on, this is something which will be there for future MSAs. It's not leaving now that we're resigning, but it will stay there forever and benefit future students, inshallah. I'll just show you maybe another one or two more. Let's see, perfecting Salah. Again, another nice heading with it. And this one has all of these nice categories. So you can see instantly, okay, if you want to go to maybe Eid Salah or Salah for Rain, can navigate through it a lot easier than with the resources folder. And let's just do one more. Marriage. Don't know if these ones have been up. Yes, they've been uploaded as well. So these are marriage classes which have been run by MSA Union. So if any of you missed those, or you feel like you want to come back and see these in the future one day when the time comes, inshallah, then all of these lessons are here as well. And then the other new addition to the Vula page this year, which was really nice, was the Ask Sheikh Khalid tab. So, you know, under your usual courses and stuff, you have the Q&A tab. So it's using the same feature as that, but people can post their questions and it's anonymously. And then Sheikh Khalid will answer them. So you can see there are quite a few questions here, and you can also have access to the questions which were asked by other people and see their responses. So yeah, that's all from me. Shukran very much. And I do appreciate the opportunity that I was given to serve in this position. It was very busy, but I learned a lot, and I wish all the best to the future portfolio.
Shukran so much, Sakina, for that presentation. And I think just as you've mentioned there, Sheikh Khalid, not only, you know, he's not representing a particular portfolio, he's our Islamic advisor, but just on behalf of the MSA for all the effort that he's put in with the Perfecting Salah talks, the stories from the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, for giving Jumu'ahs basically every week on Med campus, to giving the Arabic classes. So shukran to Sheikh Khalid for all his hard work, and may Allah reward him for his efforts, inshallah. So really, everyone, that's all the portfolios of the MSA. That's eight portfolios, alhamdulillah, and they've given their report back. So the next stage on the agenda is, I'm just going to ask, so basically how these things work is that you have to have a presiding officer, and our presiding officer, been waiting very patiently, is Lutolo, who is a medical student at UCT doing his honors in neuroscience. And I just want him just to confirm the voting procedure. Lutolo.
I think I'm muted. Okay. Greetings. Thank you so much, Elias, for the wonderful introduction. I was the presiding officer that was asked to assess and ensure that the voting was fair, and with talking and just interacting with Arshad, I saw that everything was fair and conducted via Vula poll, and it was explained to me, and yeah, I agree, it is fair. And if anyone has any questions, of course, they can then send them to the committee. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Rutolo. So now that really brings us to the announcement of the new committee. And to do that for us, we have our secretary, Nasreen Ismail, as well as our current outgoing Med Director, Irshad Hussain.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Nasreen Ismail and I am the outgoing Secretary General of Uct Msa. I would just like to say shukran to everyone for attending the AGM today, and a special shukran to the entire committee for all their hard work and their dedication this year, and may Allah reward you all abundantly, inshallah, ameen. So without further ado, the moment you all have been waiting for, I'll be announcing the new Executive Committee of Uct Msa for the 2021/2022 term. So we'll start off with the Chairperson. Please give a virtual round of applause to the new Chairperson of Uct Msa, Ahmed Good. I will now give over to Ahmed to deliver his Chairperson speech.
Salam everyone. I didn't actually prepare a speech, but I'd just like to say thank you. And yeah, no, I hope I do a good job being chair. I definitely have very big shoes to fill. I mean, just the next MSA in general has very big shoes to fill. I mean, given what this current MSA has achieved, they've set the bar really high. And the chair himself, Ilyas, like everyone on the MSA knows, like Ilyas is everywhere. He responds extremely fast. He's always attending meetings, always giving his input. I don't know how he does it, like alongside university, like it's a full-time job. So he's definitely set the benchmark very high, and I hope to serve at that level as much as I can. And on that note, just to the purpose of the MSA is to serve our members, right? It's not what I want. We just representing the members of the MSA and want to facilitate whatever they want to see. So if anyone has any input, they would like to see something that we're not doing, or if they have issues with what we're currently doing and have advice on how we can do it better, please approach any one of the executive committees or any of the committee members. And so we want to serve you, but we can only really know that if we know what you want. And if you have the opportunity and the time, please join our committee. The MSA, I think we have quite a few portfolio positions, more than most societies. And we'd really love for you to join. Even the subcommittees, as many members as possible. The more members we have, the more we can do. Just, if you want to not just give your input, but also contribute and further the MSA that you want to see. But yeah, thanks once again. And I'll hand it back to you, Nasreen.
So on behalf of the MSA, we would like to say Mubarak to you, Ahmed, and may Allah grant you ease and success in your new position, inshallah, ameen. So next up is the Vice Chairperson. Let us give a virtual round of applause to the new Vice. Winning by 8 votes, we have Sana Khan. Over to you, Sana.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. I also haven't got something proper prepared, but I want to say shukran to everyone who voted for me, and also yeah, I'm actually kind of really surprised and I'm so happy to be the new Vice Chairperson. And I also want to say that we have like really big shoes to fill in from the previous committee in general. And like Ilyas was always on it with everything. Nasreen was such an amazing secretary, and the previous exec was like really amazing. So we really definitely have big shoes to fill, and I hope that inshallah that we're able to do even like we're able to fill those shoes, and that I'm really happy to be in this position, and inshallah we're able to do better things and take the MSA to, I know that nothing is possible without the people and with everyone, and I felt like I made so many friends. Shukran so much.
Sana, I think the connection broke up a bit. I'm not sure if you want to repeat or if it's okay.
Okay, I don't know where the connection broke up, so it's fine.
Okay. Mubarak Sana, on your new position, I'm like to add that it will be a fruitful year for you and your team, inshallah, Ameen. Now for the best position on the executive committee, the Secretary General. Please give a virtual round of applause to the new Secretary of Uct Msa, Amina Domingo. Over to you, Amina.
Shukran, Nasreen. I'm not sure if you can see me. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So yeah, I just want to say firstly, well done to every single member of the MSA, whether you are on the exec, the general, or you're on the subcommittee. Like without you, we wouldn't be having this AGM tonight. And yeah, I just want to say, alhamdulillah for this opportunity, just shukran to Nasreen for, setting the bar so high for me, for this year to come. And I'm excited to be on the exec. As Ahmed said, we're always looking for new ideas, ways to improve. So you can always approach us, email us, send us a DM on Instagram. And yeah, inshallah, I know this next year will probably also be challenging once again with COVID, but we'll make it work with everyone's help. So shukran Nasreen for that, and well done to Ahmed and Sana.
Jazakallah, Amina, and Mubarak to you. I'm looking forward to receiving emails from you, and inshallah, I'm sure you will do an amazing job with the rest of your team members, inshallah. So now over to my colleague Irshad, who will announce the last 3 executive positions.
Shukran, Nasreen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Congratulations to Ahmed, Sana, and Amina. Inshallah, may you guys have many successes in your term to come. So moving on to the position of treasurer. So our treasurer for the 2021-2022 term will be Abu Bakr Khatib. So congratulations. May Allah guide you and grant you the strength you need as you take up this position, inshallah. And yeah, I can just get a virtual round of applause for him as well. And then Abu Bakr, I'll just hand over to you to share a few words if you would.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. I'd just like to say I was also a bit surprised, very happy to have received this news. And while listening to everyone speak, I was just reminded of something that one of my shuyukh at Medina Institute would say, and that was that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala personally chooses who he subhanahu wa ta'ala would like to serve the deen. And so for myself and for everyone else, this is really a great ni'mah that we have been blessed with. And I hope to fulfill my duties to the best of my ability. And I look forward to the 2021-2022 calendar year, inshallah. Shukran. Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakallah, Abu Bakr. So next up, the position of Medical Campus Director. So this is a position that I previously held. So this is a new exec position, which was created in order to better coordinate the MSA's activities on mid-campus. And alhamdulillah, it's been wonderful to see that we have made progress in this regard over the past year. But now it's time to hand over to the next mid-campus director. which will be Rushana Lekay Peterson. So congratulations, Rushana. Can we get a round of applause for her as well? Rushana, I wish you all of the very best as you enter into this position, and may Allah guide you, inshallah. And I'll just hand over to you to share a few words as well.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. So watching this entire annual general meeting and actually seeing what everyone did, it's amazing. Like the new MSA definitely has really big shoes to fill, and I believe that we will do it. And I'm really grateful and honored to accept this position, alhamdulillah. And seeing the determination and the dedication and the diligence of all the previous directors and all the previous MSA exec members, it definitely inspired me to take on this journey, and inshallah I will strive to be just as enthusiastic and conscientious as all the other previous leaders were. So yeah, inshallah I'm so excited to be working with the new exec, and we will continue, inshallah, growing the MSA from strength to strength. Shukran to everyone.
Ameen. All the best, Rushana, in your new position. And then lastly, I'd like to introduce our new ex officio for the coming term, which will be Rastam Slamni. So congratulations to Rastam. Yeah, this past term has been quite tough in the context of COVID, and it came with many challenges, but also many lessons. So may you take that wisdom forward to guide the new exec, and may you have a successful term as ex officio, inshallah. I'll just hand over to you to share a few words.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, I just want to say, Alhamdulillah, Allah Ta'ala has shown some pity on us that we can make amal of deen, or we can earn some rewards, because we're not, we're not worthy of these positions and these titles and things, but Allah Ta'ala showed some pity on us. So like that, I've been on the MSA for the past 2 years on the committee, and then before that I was on all of the subcommittees. So a few subcommittees, yeah. So alhamdulillah, I don't actually have enough time to next year to fully commit myself to running a portfolio, which is why I thought why not just run for ex officio. So what I'm hoping to do is to guide whoever comes in, because we were quite a new, quite a young, quite a fresh committee this year, and I'm not sure, who the new committee members are going to be, but I'm assuming it's going to be people that are, in first and second year. So I'm just there to assist wherever I can. I know the ins and outs of campus, upper campus, the Jamaat Khana. I know how to organize Jumas. Yeah, I'm experienced in this. So alhamdulillah, I wish everybody all the best, and I look forward to working with everybody, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Jazakallah for that, Rastam. Yeah, that concludes the reveal of our new exec. So I just think this is an amazing group, and I'm confident that they will be successful in all of their endeavors for the MSA, inshallah, in the next term. So yeah, I think next is the vote of thanks. I think Ahmad's going to do that. Yes, is that right?
Yeah.
Right, salams again, everyone. Yeah, no, just to say thank you, a big thank you to the outgoing committee. I mean, despite the lockdown, what you guys have managed to accomplish has just been amazing, and that says a lot. Like, not only have you guys been one of the most active MSAs I've personally ever seen, but also during lockdown. And on a personal note, I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot from you guys. I hope I'm not saying goodbye to many of you. I don't think many of you are actually graduating this year, so you guys can still be on the subcommittees and help out. That'll be really good. And then, yeah, no, thank you to the attendees for attending the AGM. giving your time to be here. I'm not going to close it off now because I just found that there's a surprise video that has been prepared. So we're going to go to that, and then Ilyas will give the closing dua.
So this is just like a surprise video that we decided to make for the outgoing committee, just like a farewell video, just to close off our term. Yeah, so that was just a short video, and we hope that you enjoyed it. So we'll just end off with a short closing dua, and yeah, let us try, and when we make dua, Allah says that we must have khushu', we must experience the remembrance of Allah. So let us really, in this moment, just try and reflect, and let it be a moment of deep introspection, inshallah. Al-Fatiha. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين اللهم إنا نسألك الثبات في الأمر والعزيمة على رشد والشكر على نعمتك ونسألك حسن عبادتك. اللهم إنا نسألك من خير كل ما تعلم ونعوذ بك من شر كل ما تعلم ونستغفرك من شر كل ما تعلم فإنك أنت علام الغيوب. اللهم ارزقنا قلبا خاشئا خادعا ضادعا وارزقنا عينا باكيا وارزقنا بدنا صحيحا صابرا وارزقنا لسانا ذاكرا وحامدا. اللهم ارزقنا سنا طويلا في الخير مشتغلا بالعبادة خالصة. اللهم ارزقنا علما نافعا وعملا صالحا يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم أنت ربي، اللهم أنت ربي، لا إله إلا أنت، خلقتني وأنا عبدك وأنا على عهدك ووعدك ما استطعت. أعوذ بك من شر ما صنعت. أبوء لك بنعمتك علي وأبوء لك بذنبي فاغفر لي فإنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت. Inshallah, just for 1 minute, I want you to make your own dua, whether it's for your friends, whether it's for your family, whether it's for those who are sick, those who you've lost over the last couple of years. Just make your own dua for 1 minute and then we'll finish off. And close your eyes and for 1 minute. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. ربنا واجعلنا مسلمين لك ومن ذريتنا أمة مسلمة لك. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وادخلنا الجنة مع الأبرار يا عزيز يا غفار يا رب العالمين. ألا إن أولياء الله لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون الذين آمنوا وكانوا يتقون. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Shukran everyone. That brings us to the end of the AGM. And once again, just congratulations to the new committee. Inshallah, we make dua that Allah blesses them, that He supports them, He guides them to serve this community, and may they achieve so much more than what we have been able to do over this last year. Inshallah, Ameen. Barakallahu feekum wal afwa minkum. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.